we're the Vision. Yeah, I'm Demi.
I'm Carly.
And we are to come together as two different parts of experience. So Carly was my social worker when I was 10, and we sort of grew together as that. She sort of guided me through those stages of life which I was really struggling in.
Mine and her relationship evolved as, I suppose, me being her social worker and trying to guide her through life and trying to give her different lessons and being there along the journey. And that's why we do work so well together, is because Demi will say, actually Carly, ever think about this? And I will say, Demi, what about this angle? So we do a lot of work with disempowered people, and that might be disempowered groups, for example, groups have experienced trauma in their lives and adversity. We come up with this term sometimes called life story work. And actually people get really fearful of what that is and feel that they need to put a really professional book together and it needs to be very adult-led, whereas actually it's so different for each child.
So we sat down on my floor on my pink fluffy rug, I remember in my bedroom, and we just writ as much as we could remember. She got loads of photographs from my mum, and I didn't even realise up until more recently that my mum was actually the person that gave her the photos, and I think that was really nice because I've never seen them.
So those relationships between me and Demi's parents was so important. The fact that our mum gave me all those photos, the fact that I'm able to kind of call and say, this is going on, how are you feeling? It's so important in terms of everybody working together and also being very, very self-aware of what is it that you think the child needs and wants to know versus what the child thinks too.
I feel like if I had a little bit of this and a little bit of that from everywhere, because it'd be really nice if it was like that one time when you and your brothers were skipping down the street and whatever that might have been. There are things that I feel like I would have really benefited from with this app, and having the right people, the protective people around you to help continue your story for you, even when you don't want to carry on. Sometimes you might think, I've had enough, and some people think, you've not, I'm going to keep going for you. And that's something somebody used to do for me, and I think that was really, again, built that connection, and I think that was something that I really needed.
We have been involved with Jane, who is one of the people who is part of Aftercloud. Jane is an incredible advocate for the co-experience community. They started off with different apps to support the dementia community and supporting with capturing memories. Jane approached us to ask us if we would be part of this project, trialling out the app, getting people's views in terms of the co-experience community. It is about children and young people having the opportunity to have their space, write their story with the added extras of, like Demi said, those important people in somebody's life being part of that as well. So with Storyteller, you've got different people who can have access. So let's pick Demi for example. It's Demi's story and it's her Storyteller app, but actually I might be somebody who is part of Demi's story, and Demi may want me linked in her life about social workers, or it might be that actually Demi's got a chapter about year 2 and it's got performances on there, it's got her work, it's got her certificates. So many people can play different roles. It might be that Demi really doesn't want to write, so it's voice recordings or it's videos. So the methods are there in terms of kind of being able to express yourself in so many different ways. And actually for a child, being able to kind of say, I've had a really, really rough time lately and I want to go back to a really happy time in my life, going through that journey of growth in terms of my development and supporting me with different milestones. Because actually in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, you may need to look back at some of these things that make you smile, but also to make sense of things too. It would be incredible if you could see it embedded across the country, because we hear so many times about a postcode lottery. Actually, if you live in a certain area in the south, this is what you're given and this is what you're offered and this is what you're entitled to. However, in a certain place in the north, this is what you get and it's different. So many children and young people are experiencing so much inconsistency, and actually something like Storyteller would be incredible of having this accessible to all local authorities, and having this accessible to all children and young people, and having this accessible to care experience adults. Could they utilise the app to start making sense of some of their records that they're reading now and actually start to create some of those chapters? And can that be accessible to the care experience community generally, so every child and young person and adult has the opportunity to, like Demi said, celebrate your life and start to make sense of it when you've experienced so much change and so much loss and so much confusion throughout your life. It's just compounded. If an app and the resource can help with that, that would be incredible. High five, girl. Woo!
Smashed it, told
Oh yeah! Ta-da! We made it!